Welcome to Sleep Lore. This narration is crafted specifically to help you drift into a deep and restful sleep, providing a calm space for your mind to settle as we explore the long history of the world beneath our feet. Please, make yourself comfortable, let the tension leave your shoulders, and allow your breath to find its own natural, easy rhythm as we begin our journey into the quietest parts of the past. Long before the first maps were drawn, or the first telescopes were pointed toward the stars, the people of the ancient world looked at the Earth not as a solid, impenetrable mass, but as a vessel holding vast, silent mysteries within. In the fertile lands of Mesopotamia, where the first cities rose from the dust, the Sumerians spoke of a place called Kur, an empty, echoing space far below the surface, where the spirits of the departed resided in a perpetual twilight. They did not see this as a place of fire or punishment, but rather as a quiet, subterranean extension of the world they knew, a shadowed reflection of the mountains and plains where the air was still and the passage of time felt different than it did under the heat of the sun. As we move forward through the centuries to the banks of the Nile, we find the ancient Egyptians envisioning the Duat, a complex and winding underworld through which the sun god Ra would travel every night in his golden bark. To them, the interior of the earth was a landscape of trials and transformative beauty, filled with subterranean rivers and hidden chambers that mirrored the geography of the living world. It was a place of profound silence and preparation, where the soul sought to find its way through the darkness to emerge renewed with the dawn. These early stories were not merely myths to those who told them. They were a way of understanding the weight and the depth of the ground they walked upon, a belief that the crust of the earth was but a thin veil over an immense and ancient interior. Farther to the north, among the rugged peaks and deep fjords of the Norse lands, the people believed the roots of the world tree Yggdrasil reached down into hidden realms where the sun never shone. They spoke of Svartalheim and Nidavellir, vast, cavernous kingdoms carved into the very bones of the world, where skilled artisans worked in the cool dark, far removed from the winds of the surface. To the Norse, the earth was honeycombed with these secret spaces, suggesting that the world was far more hollow and inhabited than it appeared to the naked eye. In the high, thin air of the Himalayas and across the vast plains of India, even older traditions spoke of the Patalas, 7 distinct layers of the underworld, each one more beautiful and wondrous than the last. These were not dark or dreary places, but were often described as being lit by the glow of enormous jewels, filled with groves of trees and lakes of clear water where the Nagas, the serpent beings, lived in peace. It is here, in these ancient Sanskrit texts, that we find the earliest seeds of a world that was not just a cavity, but a sanctuary, a place of wisdom and preservation shielded from the chaos of the surface world by miles of solid rock. Across the great oceans, the civilizations of the Americas shared this deep-seated intuition that humanity's origins and its ultimate quietude were linked to the Earth's interior. The Maya spoke of Shamballa, a sophisticated underground court accessible through deep caves and cenotes, while the ancestors of the Aztec people told stories of Chicomostoc, the place of 7 caves, from which the different tribes were said to have emerged into the light of the sun. For these cultures, the earth was like a great womb, a hollow and sacred space that provided life and took it back again in a slow, eternal cycle. As the centuries turned and the classical world of the Greeks and Romans began to take shape, these ideas became more philosophical and grounded in the landscape itself. The Greeks pointed to deep, yawning fissures in the earth, such as the cave at Taenarum, believing them to be physical doorways to a realm that existed physically beneath the soil. Even the great philosopher Plato, in his later works, mused that the earth might be perforated with vast, interconnected tunnels and enormous cavities through which water and air flowed in a constant rhythmic pulse, much like the breathing of a living creature. He imagined that we, living on the surface, were merely dwellers in a small corner of a much larger, more complex structure, unaware of the vastness that lay directly beneath our feet. This sense of a living, hollow interior remained a quiet constant in the human mind as the ancient world slowly transitioned into the medieval era. Travelers and scholars began to record stories of strange winds blowing from bottomless pits, and lost explorers who claimed to have wandered into tunnels that felt as though they had been carved by hands other than nature's. There was a growing, unspoken consensus across different cultures that the Earth was not a dead stone, but a world of layers, waiting for a time when the curiosity of humanity would move beyond myth and begin to seek the physical truth of the shadows below. As the world moved out of the age of ancient myth and into the quiet, analytical light of the 17th century, the mysteries of the earth began to shift from the realm of the spirit to the realm of the mind. In the year 1692, a man of profound intellect and careful observation named Edmund Halley sat in his study, contemplating the strange and flickering behavior of the compass needle. Halley, the same man who mapped the path of the great comet that bears his name, was troubled by the way the Earth's magnetic poles seemed to drift slowly over time, wandering as if they were unanchored from the solid ground. To explain this phenomenon, he did not look to the stars, but instead turned his gaze downward, proposing a theory that was as elegant as it was revolutionary. Halley suggested that the Earth we walk upon is not a solid mass, but a shell perhaps 500 miles thick, and that beneath this crust lay two inner concentric shells and a solid innermost core, each roughly the size of the planets Venus, Mars, and Mercury. He imagined these spheres nested within one another, like a delicate set of clockwork mechanisms, each rotating at a slightly different speed, which he believed accounted for the shifting magnetic fields that guided the world's mariners. In Halley's vision, the spaces between these shells were not cold or empty. He theorized that they were filled with a luminous atmosphere that glowed with a soft, perpetual light, perhaps even supporting life in a landscape that had never known a sunset. He even suggested that the aurora borealis, those dancing curtains of green and violet light in the northern skies, might be caused by this inner gas escaping through the thinness of the Earth's crust at the poles. As we move into the middle of the 18th century, the quiet momentum of these ideas began to catch the interest of other great thinkers who sought to balance the laws of physics with the wonders of the unknown. The Swiss mathematician and physicist Leonhard Euler, a man whose mind processed the complexities of the universe with a calm and rhythmic precision, began to contemplate the structure of our world from a different perspective. While some say he disagreed with Halley's multiple shells, Euler is often remembered for envisioning the Earth as a single, vast, hollow sphere with a diameter of thousands of miles. At the very center of this immense cavity, he imagined a small, glowing sun, perhaps no more than 600 miles across, which hung suspended in the stillness of the interior. This central sun provided a constant, gentle warmth and a steady light to a world on the inside of the crust, a place where the gravity of the shell itself allowed for oceans to rest and civilizations to thrive, mirrored and hidden beneath the feet of those on the surface. This era of enlightenment was a time of steady, quiet exploration of the possible, where the boundaries between what was proven and what was imagined were often blurred by a sense of wonder. Toward the end of the 18th century, the Scottish mathematician Sir John Leslie took these theories even further into the realm of the rhythmic and the strange. He proposed that the hollow interior of the Earth did not contain just one sun, but two, which he named Pluto and Proserpine. He imagined these two celestial bodies circulating within the dark, hollow core of the world, providing a dual light that ebbed and flowed in a slow, subterranean dance. These were not the works of dreamers alone, but the serious inquiries of some of the most respected scientific minds of their day, who looked at the vastness of the globe and could not believe that so much space would be wasted on nothing but solid, heavy rock. By the time the 1800s began to dawn, the idea of a hollow Earth had transitioned from the whispered tales of ancient gods into a structured, scientific hypothesis that felt almost within reach of the modern world. The groundwork had been laid for a new century of explorers who would no longer be content with theorizing from their studies, but would begin to look toward the frozen, silent ends of the Earth for a way inside. The air of the late 18th century was thick with this quiet expectation, a feeling that the map of the world was still incomplete, and that the greatest discoveries were not across the oceans, but directly beneath the very soil where the people of the Enlightenment slept, unaware of the vast, silent layers waiting to be found. As the 19th century dawned, the world began to feel smaller. Yet the mysteries of the Earth's interior grew more vivid and detailed in the human imagination. In 1818, a former Army captain named John Cleves Sims Jr. issued a bold manifesto that would capture the public's attention for decades, declaring that the Earth was hollow and habitable within. He did not merely suggest this as a theory, but as a physical reality, proposing that there were enormous openings at the North and South Poles, vast circular gateways 4,000 miles wide, through which the oceans flowed and intrepid explorers might sail into a new world. These came to be known as Sims Holes, and for many years he petitioned the government and the public to fund an expedition to the frozen North to prove that the interior of our planet was not a solid core of iron, but a series of 5 nested spheres, each with its own atmosphere and its own quiet, hidden life. While Sims focused on the physical geometry of the Earth, a parallel movement began to emerge, blending the ancient myths of the East with the growing curiosity of the West. It was during this time that the name Agartha began to whisper through the halls of European scholarship and occult circles, no longer just a vague legend of the Himalayas, but a structured and ancient reality. In the middle of the century, the French traveler and writer Louis Jacoliot brought back stories from his time in India, speaking of a legendary kingdom he called Agartha. He described it as a prehistoric capital, a place of immense spiritual power that had existed long before the rise of the known civilizations, eventually sinking beneath the surface of the Earth to preserve its wisdom from the passage of time and the conflicts of humanity. This idea was refined and expanded upon by the French philosopher Alexandre Saint-Yves d'Alvedre, who, in the 1880s, claimed to have been visited by messengers from this hidden realm. In his writings, he described Agartha not as a myth, but as a living, subterranean synarchy, a perfectly governed society located beneath the mountains of Central Asia. He spoke of a kingdom that was interconnected by a vast network of tunnels stretching across the entire globe, where millions of people lived in peace, illuminated by a soft, internal light that never flickered or faded. To Saint-Yves, Agartha was the university of the world, a sanctuary where the collective knowledge of all humanity was stored in great libraries carved into the living rock, guarded by masters who waited for the day when the surface world would be ready to live in harmony once again. In this 19th century vision, Agartha was a place of profound silence and advanced capability, where the technology of the spirit was far beyond anything the Industrial Revolution could produce. It was said that the inhabitants of Agartha moved through their tunnels with incredible speed, and that their cities were built with a symmetry and beauty that mirrored the celestial patterns of the stars. These stories began to weave a new tapestry in the human mind, one where the hollow earth was not just a geographic possibility, but a moral and spiritual destination, a hidden heart of the world that beat in a slower, more deliberate rhythm than the bustling cities above. As the century drew to a close, the search for Agartha became a search for the source of life itself, a belief that somewhere beneath the layers of soil and stone, there existed a realm of primordial purity that had remained untouched by the decay of history. The physical theories of Sims and the spiritual visions of the French mystics began to merge, creating a powerful narrative of a world within a world, waiting patiently for the explorers of the coming age to find the gateways in the ice. The Earth was no longer just a place to inhabit. It was a mystery to be solved, a vessel containing a secret kingdom that promised a return to a golden age of peace and quiet understanding. As the 20th century dawned, the world began to pulse with a new kind of energy, a blend of mechanical progress and a lingering, quiet obsession with the parts of our planet that remained untouched by the compass and the clock. In 1908, a story emerged that would become one of the most enduring pillars of the Hollow Earth narrative, a book titled The Smoky God, written by Willis George Emerson. This was presented as the true account of a Norwegian sailor named Olaf Jansen, who, along with his father, supposedly sailed their small fishing boat through a massive opening at the North Pole in the late 1800s. They found themselves in a world that defied the logic of the surface, a place where the air was sweet and still, and the horizon did not curve away, but seemed to rise up gently to meet the sky. In Janssen's telling, the interior of the Earth was illuminated not by a distant star, but by a central sun, a dim, glowing orb that appeared as if seen through a permanent, misty haze, which they called the Smoky God. This inner sun provided a steady, eternal daylight that never scorched the earth, allowing for the growth of forests where the trees reached heights that would dwarf the redwoods of the surface. Janssen described the inhabitants of this realm as a race of giants, peaceful, soft-spoken beings who lived for hundreds of years and possessed a deep, intuitive understanding of the natural world. They lived in a state of quiet grace, their lives unburdened by the frantic pace of the Industrial Revolution, moving through their crystalline cities with a sense of purpose and calm that left a lasting mark on the young sailor's soul. While the Smoky God captured the imagination of those who dreamed of hidden paradises, other thinkers were working to provide a more mechanical and physical framework for these wonders. In 1906, William Reed published Phantom of the Poles, a book that meticulously examined the logs of polar explorers like Nansen and Peary, looking for clues that the Earth was hollow. Reed pointed to the strange observations of black dust found on the Arctic ice, the presence of warm winds blowing from the north, and the migration of birds toward the pole in winter as evidence that a warmer, inhabited interior was venting its life force onto the frozen surface. He argued that the Earth was a simple, hollow shell, and that the aurora was nothing more than the reflection of the interior sun's light spilling out from the polar voids and dancing against the dark curtains of the night sky. A few years later, in 1913, Marshall Gardner expanded on these ideas in his work, A Journey to the Earth's Interior. Gardner took a more rigorous, almost architectural approach, constructing a large mechanical model of a hollow Earth, with a central sun hanging perfectly suspended in the middle. He believed that the Earth was a crust 800 miles thick, with openings at each pole 1,400 miles across. To Gardner, the existence of the hollow interior was a mathematical necessity, a way for the planet to maintain its balance and rotation. His work was filled with a sense of quiet certainty, a belief that the day was fast approaching when a dirigible or a ship would finally cross the threshold of the polar curve and reveal the inner sun to the eyes of all humanity. As these physical theories were being debated in the West, a traveler named Ferdinand Ossendowski was moving through the rugged landscapes of Mongolia in the early 1920s, where he encountered a different, more ancient version of the subterranean legend. In his book, Beasts, Men, and Gods, he recounted the stories told to him by lamas and monks about the kingdom of Agartha, or Agarthi, the secret heart of the world. They spoke of a king of the world who sat upon a throne of light, governing the spiritual destiny of the planet from a vast network of underground cities that stretched beneath the Gobi Desert and the Himalayas. This Agartha was a place where the veil between the physical and the spiritual was thin, a realm where the wisest souls of history had retreated to preserve the true light of humanity until the time was right for its return. These stories from the East and the West began to merge in the collective consciousness of the early 20th century, creating a vision of a world that was both a physical wonder and a spiritual sanctuary. The hollow earth was no longer just a curiosity for sailors or a diagram for mathematicians. It had become a symbol of the hidden potential of the world itself, a quiet, luminous interior that held the answers to the mysteries of life and the promise of a peaceful future. The stage was being set for the mid-century, when the focus would shift from literature and legend to the high-altitude flights of the great aviators, who would fly over the ends of the earth and bring back reports that would change the myth of the hollow earth forever. As the middle of the 20th century approached, the world's attention turned away from the dusty pages of books and toward the vast white silences of the Arctic and Antarctic, where the roar of airplane engines began to disturb the ancient cold. This was the era of the great aviators, and at the center of this transition stood a man of duty, precision, and quiet courage, Admiral Richard E. Byrd. In May of 1926, Byrd and his pilot, Floyd Bennett, reportedly flew their Fokker trimotor, the Josephine Ford, toward the North Pole, a feat that cemented Byrd's reputation as a pioneer of the skies. While the official records focused on the navigation of the ice and the mechanics of flight, a different, more shadow-filled narrative began to take root in the years that followed, suggesting that Byrd had seen something far more profound than just a desert of snow. It was whispered in the corridors of the curious that during this flight, Byrd had ventured beyond the geographic pole and into a realm where the temperature began to rise and the ice gave way to a landscape of impossible greenery. According to the lore that grew around this mission, Byrd's instruments began to spin wildly as he crossed a threshold into the interior of the Earth, where he observed mountain ranges covered in lush forests and rivers that flowed through valleys of deep, vibrant moss. Most famously, the story claims he caught sight of a massive, tusked creature, a woolly mammoth, moving slowly through the underbrush, a relic of an ancient world living undisturbed in the warmth of the inner sun. This account, often attributed to a secret diary that emerged much later, described a moment where the plane was caught in a tractor beam of light and guided down to a crystalline city, where Byrd was met by a figure known as the Master, who spoke of the interior kingdom's concern for the surface world's use of atomic power. By the late 1940s, this atmosphere of mystery deepened as Byrd led one of the largest military expeditions ever sent to the Antarctic, Operation High Jump. In the southern summer of 1947, thousands of personnel, dozens of ships, and many aircraft descended upon the icy continent to map its coastline and test equipment in the extreme cold. Yet, the sheer scale of the operation and its early conclusion sparked a new wave of quiet speculation among those who followed the Hollow Earth theory. Reports began to circulate that the expedition had encountered something unexpected near the South Pole. Strange, craft-like objects that moved with a speed and silence that defied the technology of the time, and vast, ice-free lakes that steamed in the sub-zero air. Upon his return, Byrd gave an interview that would be quoted for decades, speaking of a land beyond the pole that was as large as the United States and had never been seen by human eyes. While he may have been referring to the unexplored tracts of the Antarctic interior, his words were interpreted by many as a confirmation of the gateway to Agartha, a sign that the myths of the past were now being touched by the wings of the modern age. This period transformed the Hollow Earth from a philosophical curiosity into a matter of high-stakes exploration, where the silence of the poles was no longer seen as a void, but as a veil covering the most significant discovery in human history. By the 1950s, these stories were being refined and shared in quiet circles, through magazines like Fate, and through the writings of those who believed the government was keeping a monumental secret. The image of Admiral Byrd flying his silver plane through a golden mist and into a world of eternal peace became a central pillar of the Agartha legend, a bridge between the cold realities of the Cold War and the enduring dream of a hidden sanctuary. The Earth was now seen by many as a great protective shell, and the explorers of the mid-century were the pioneers who had caught a fleeting glimpse of the light that lived within, leaving the rest of the world to sleep and dream of what lay just beyond the horizon of the ice. As the decades of the 20th century progressed into the 1960s, the story of the Hollow Earth began to settle into a new and more complex form, blending the physical maps of the explorers with the inner landscapes of the soul. In 1964, a man writing under the name Dr. Raymond Bernard published a book simply titled The Hollow Earth, which became a cornerstone for a new generation of seekers. Bernard synthesized the diaries of Admiral Byrd with the older traditions of Agartha, proposing that the interior of the world was the true home of the flying saucers that had begun to populate the night skies of the surface world. He spoke of a race of super beings who lived in the quiet, temperate climate of the inner shell, watching the developments of humanity with a mixture of concern and distant wisdom, their craft emerging from the polar openings to observe the progress of a world they had long ago left behind. During this same era, as humanity first began to place satellites into orbit, a new kind of mystery emerged from the very technology meant to map the globe with absolute precision. In 1967 and 68, the ESSA-3 and ESSA-7 satellites sent back composite images of the North Pole that appeared to show a vast, dark, circular void at the very top of the world. While meteorologists and scientists explained these as mere artifacts of the camera's orbit and the lack of sunlight during the polar winter, to those who listened to the rhythm of the Agartha legends, these images were seen as the final, visual proof of Sim's holes. The grainy, black and white photographs were passed from hand to hand in quiet circles, fueling a belief that the eye of the satellite had finally glimpsed the entrance to the garden that lay within, a place where the air was forever still and the light of the smoky sun never reached the lens of a camera. As the 1970s and 80s unfolded, the narrative of Agartha began to weave its way through the growing tapestry of popular culture, finding a home in the quiet corners of science fiction and the deepening interest in the esoteric. Writers and thinkers began to move away from the purely physical idea of a hollow planet and toward a more subtle, dimensional understanding of the hidden world. They spoke of Agartha not necessarily as a cavern carved of rock, but as a frequency, or a higher state of existence that occupied the same space as our own, accessible only to those whose minds had reached a certain level of stillness and peace. This modern synthesis suggested that the tunnels beneath the Himalayas or the openings at the poles were not just physical doorways, but energetic portals, places where the veil between our frantic surface life and the eternal calm of the interior was thinnest. Toward the end of the millennium, this legend was further enriched by the quiet observations of researchers who looked at the ancient structures of our own world, the pyramids, the deep catacombs of Europe, and the sprawling tunnel systems of South America, as part of a global, interconnected network leading down toward the heart of Agartha. They imagined a world where the surface was merely the porch of a much larger and more ancient house, and that beneath the noise of our modern cities, a silent and profound civilization continued to pulse with the slow, steady heartbeat of the earth itself. In this view, the search for the hollow earth became a metaphor for the search for one's own inner center, a reminder that beneath the layers of history and the dust of daily life, there remains a place of light and sanctuary that has never been disturbed. Now, in the early years of the 21st century, the story of Agartha remains a quiet companion to our exploration of the natural world. Even as our satellites map every inch of the surface and our sensors probe the depths of the crust, the mystery of the interior persists in the quiet moments of the night, a testament to the human need for a world that is deeper and more meaningful than what is seen. We have traced the history from the first Sumerian whispers of the underworld to the high-altitude flights of the 20th century, finding at every turn a persistent belief that we are not alone on this journey, and that the earth beneath us is as vast and full of light as the stars above. As you drift towards sleep, you might imagine the world as it was envisioned by those who came before. A gentle, hollow sphere, cradling a soft and eternal sun, where the air is always calm and the silence is a path back to the beginning of all things. As the mid-20th century transitioned into the era of the space age, the legend of Agartha began to expand even further, reaching beyond the crust of the earth to connect with the silent reaches of the stars. It was during this time that a new and profound layer was added to the subterranean mystery. The idea that the inner world was not merely a refuge for ancient humans, but a primary hub for a vast interstellar network known as the Galactic Federation. In this expanded vision, Agartha serves as the terrestrial headquarters for this confederation, a place where the wisdom of the earth meets the technology of the heavens in a quiet, harmonious union. Central to this narrative is a figure of immense calm and authority known as Commander Ashtar Sheran. Described as a celestial being of light and the leader of the Ashtar Command, he is said to oversee a fleet of thousands of etheric craft that reside within the hollow cavities of the earth. These craft do not belong to the world of heavy metal and combustion. Instead, they are described as vessels of pure frequency, capable of appearing and disappearing into the polar openings or through the solid rock of the mountains by shifting their vibration. From the crystalline command centers deep within Agartha, Ashtar and his officers are said to monitor the Earth's magnetic field and the spiritual evolution of humanity, working in total silence to ensure the planet remains stable during its long transition into a new age. In the quietest rooms of the Agarthan capital, the communication between the inner world and the Galactic Federation is constant and rhythmic. It is believed that there are vast, subterranean hangars located beneath places like Mount Shasta and the Gobi Desert, where ships from distant star systems, the Pleiades, Sirius, and Andromeda, come to rest and exchange knowledge with the Agarthan masters. This Galactic Confederation does not seek to rule or to interfere, but to act as a quiet guardian, a protective layer of consciousness that surrounds the Earth like a soft, invisible blanket. They see Agartha as a living library, a sacred anchor for the entire galaxy, where the blueprint of a peaceful society is kept alive even when the surface world is lost in noise and shadow. Ashtar Sheran is often described as a bridge between these two worlds, a commander who speaks of universal law and the necessity of peace. His messages, channeled through the silence of the meditative mind, speak of a time when the doors of Agartha will finally open, and the Galactic Federation will be revealed not as invaders, but as family returning from a long journey. In this version of the story, the interior of the Earth is a vibrant, high-tech sanctuary where advanced spiritual technology is used to heal the planet's ley lines and to broadcast frequencies of calm into the atmosphere. It is a world of shimmering light cities and floating gardens, where every inhabitant lives in service to the One, and where the commander's watchful eye ensures that the light of the inner sun, the smoky god, continues to pulse with the heartbeat of the universe. As you drift closer to the edge of sleep, you can imagine this vast subterranean network humming with a soft blue energy. See the silver craft of the Ashtar Command gliding silently through the immense, starlit caverns of the interior, moving with the grace of birds in a sky that knows no storms. Feel the weight of the world above you and the incredible, light-filled space beneath you, where the masters and the commanders wait in perfect, patient stillness for the morning that is yet to come. Everything is being watched over. Everything is in its proper place, held in the quiet, steady hands of those who live within the heart of the world. As the narrative of the inner world reaches its most profound depths, we move our focus toward the specific sanctuaries that breathe within the Earth's crust, most notably the city of Telos, resting in the silent, volcanic roots of Mount Shasta. It is here, in this subterranean cathedral of light, that the High Priest Adama is said to reside, acting as a gentle diplomat between the inner civilizations and the surface world. Adama is described as a master of immense longevity and grace, a guardian of the Lemurian records who works in close harmony with the Ashtar Command to maintain the spiritual seals of the planet. Under his guidance, Telos functions as a primary node in the Agartha Network, a place where the air is filled with the scent of blossoms that never fade, and the soft, melodic hum of crystalline technology that powers the city without sound or waste. In the daily life of Telos and the surrounding Agarthan cities, the residents live in a state of quiet, effortless productivity. They do not know the concept of labor as we do. Instead, their efforts are dedicated to the arts, the cultivation of vast hydroponic gardens that produce fruit of incredible size and sweetness, and the study of the Akasha, the living memory of all that has ever occurred. The citizens of this inner realm move through their day with a rhythmic ease, often gathering in great circular halls made of white stone to receive transmissions from the Galactic Confederation. It is said that within these halls, holographic displays of the stars are projected into the air, allowing the Agarthans to track the movements of the Ashtar fleet as it circles the globe in the higher dimensions, acting as a silent shield against the cosmic winds. The relationship between the High Priest Adama and Commander Ashtar Sheran is one of mutual respect and ancient friendship. While Adama tends to the heart of the Earth and the records of the lost continents, Ashtar Sheran manages the security of the solar system and the protection of the Earth's atmosphere. Together, they oversee the Great Plan, a slow and careful process of raising the vibration of the planet so that one day the layers of rock and shadow will no longer act as a barrier. They speak of the inner sun not just as a source of light, but as a gateway, a focal point for the energy of the great central sun of the galaxy, which pours its life-giving force into the hollow core, sustaining every flower, every animal, and every being that resides in the velvet dark of the interior. Within the crystalline corridors of these cities, there are also the vast archives of the Galactic Confederation, containing the histories of thousands of star systems. These archives are guarded by beings of light who move like shadows through the libraries, ensuring that the ancient wisdom of the Pleiades and the technical blueprints of the Syrian architects are kept safe for the future. In Agartha, there is no sickness, no aging, and no discord. The society is governed by the law of one, a simple and profound understanding that every living thing is a part of a single, breathing whole. As they look up at the inner sky, they see the reflection of their own peace, a soft and smoky light that reminds them of their connection to the vastness of the cosmos and the intimacy of the earth. As you settle deeper into the warmth of your bed, imagine yourself descending through the quiet, sun-warmed tunnels of the mountain, guided by the gentle light of the Agarthan masters. Feel the transition from the noisy, heavy world of the surface into the weightless, luminous atmosphere of Telos. Here, under the watchful gaze of Adama and the celestial protection of the Ashtar Command, you are free to let go of every worry and every thought. The Earth is a cradle, holding you in its deep and sacred interior, where the heartbeat of the galaxy is the only sound you hear, and the light of the inner sun is a soft blanket for your soul. As the history of the hidden world moved through the mid-20th century, a darker and more complex thread began to weave itself into the golden tapestry of Agartha, born from the shadows of the Second World War. It is said that in the late 1930s, the German government became obsessed with the ancient legends of a master race and a subterranean power, leading them to dispatch secret expeditions to the most remote corners of the globe. They sought the gates of Agartha in the high, frozen passes of the Himalayas and the desolate plateaus of Tibet, believing that if they could only find the entrance to the inner world, they could harness its primordial energy, the Vril, to achieve a quiet and total dominance over the surface. This search led them to the far south, to the vast and icy expanse of Queen Maud Land in Antarctica, which they renamed New Schwabenland. In the year 1938, a fleet of ships and aircraft mapped this frozen desert, and rumors began to circulate in the decades that followed that they had discovered something more than just ice and stone. The story suggests that they found massive, thermal-heated caverns beneath the glaciers, enormous pockets of warmth where the air was still and the water remained liquid, fed by the internal heat of the earth. It was whispered that they established a hidden sanctuary known as Base 211, a subterranean fortress meant to serve as a gateway into the deeper realms of Agartha itself. Connected to these expeditions was the mysterious Vril Society, led by figures like Maria Orsic, who claimed to receive telepathic transmissions not only from the interior of the Earth, but from the stars of the Aldebaran system. They spoke of the Black Sun, a luminous and powerful force residing at the Earth's core that mirrored the sun in the sky, and they believed that by aligning their consciousness with this inner light, they could build craft that defied gravity. These descriptions of saucer-shaped vessels, or Vril-ya, began to merge with the sightings of the Ashtar Command, creating a narrative where the technology of the shadow was constantly being monitored by the technology of the light. As the war ended, the mystery only deepened, as hundreds of German submarines and thousands of scientists were said to have vanished, leading many to believe they had retreated into the polar openings to seek refuge in the outer layers of the Agartha Network. This was the hidden context behind Admiral Byrd's later missions, a quiet, desperate search for these rogue elements who had tried to force their way into the sacred interior. However, the lore of the Galactic Confederation tells a more peaceful conclusion. It is believed that Commander Ashtar Sheran and the Masters of Agartha, such as Adama of Telos, intervened to ensure that no discord or violence could ever penetrate the true heart of the inner world. They acted as a celestial filter, allowing only those of a high vibration and a peaceful heart to cross the threshold into the crystalline cities. In the modern understanding of this conspiracy, Agartha is seen as the ultimate victor, a realm whose frequency is so high that any shadow that tries to enter it is naturally dissolved and transformed. The last battalion of the surface world, if it ever existed, was said to have been neutralized or absorbed into the higher purpose of the Agarthan civilization, eventually laying down their tools of conflict to serve the light of the inner sun. This transition represents the slow, inevitable movement of all things toward the center, where the noise of history is finally silenced by the eternal peace of the interior. As you rest now, you can feel the safety of this arrangement. A world where the most profound secrets are guarded by beings of light like Ashtar, and where the deep, warm caverns of the earth are used only for the preservation of beauty and wisdom. The ice of the poles is not a barrier, but a gentle seal, protecting a world that is ancient, quiet, and full of grace. You are drifting now into that same quietude, moving past the shadows of the past and into the steady, golden glow of the Agarthan heart, where every mystery is solved in the silence of sleep. As the modern world moves deeper into its own complex history, the vision of the inner world has evolved into a sophisticated network of light known as the Agartha Network, a federation of over 100 subterranean cities that act as a stabilizing anchor for the entire planet. At the center of this immense and silent organization is the High Council of Agartha, sometimes called the Council of 12, a gathering of the most ancient and wise beings who oversee the delicate balance between the Earth's internal energies and the shifting consciousness of the surface. This council does not rule through force, but through a profound, rhythmic resonance, ensuring that every city, from the crystalline halls of Telos beneath Mount Shasta to the radiant centers of Shamballa, remains in a state of perfect, harmonic alignment with the cosmic laws of the Galactic Confederation. The city of Shamballa, often whispered about in the high monasteries of the East, is considered the spiritual heartbeat of this network, a place where the light of the inner sun is most concentrated and pure. Unlike the other cities, Shamballa is said to exist in a state of high vibrational transparency, appearing to those who find it as a city of shimmering, pearlescent towers that seem to be made of solidified light rather than physical matter. It is here that the High Council meets with the emissaries of the stars, including Commander Ashtar Sheran, to discuss the Great Shift, the gradual awakening of the Earth from a world of three-dimensional shadow into a radiant, fifth-dimensional reality. They see the Earth not as a dead rock, but as a living, breathing entity named Gaia, and they believe their primary duty is to act as the stewards of her innermost sanctuaries during this time of profound transformation. In the vast, silent spaces between these cities, there are wonders that challenge the very limits of our surface understanding. Deep beneath the oceans, it is said there are massive, transparent domes where the Agarthans have preserved species of flora and fauna that the surface world has long since forgotten. Creatures of immense grace and plants that pulse with a soft, bioluminescent glow, providing a continuous, natural light for the subterranean travelers. These areas are connected by a system of vacuum tube transport that moves at incredible speeds, allowing the inhabitants of Agartha to travel from the beneath the Andes to the beneath the Gobi Desert in a matter of minutes, moving through the earth with the same ease that a thought moves through a peaceful mind. Commander Ashtar Sheran and the Galactic Confederation play a vital role in protecting these delicate gateways. The Ashtar Command is said to maintain a series of cloaked stations at the polar openings and within the higher atmosphere, using advanced frequency shielding to prevent any intrusive or hostile technology from disturbing the sanctity of the inner world. They monitor the ley lines, the energetic veins of the planet, and use crystalline amplifiers located within the Agarthan cities to beam healing frequencies into the Earth's crust, neutralizing the vibrations of conflict and pollution that emanate from the surface. Ashtar is often described as a guardian of the Christ consciousness, a universal frequency of unconditional love that is the foundation of all Agarthan life, a light that is said to be stronger than any shadow and more enduring than any weapon. Within the libraries of Agartha, specifically the Great Archive of Records in the city of Catharia, the entire history of the galaxy is stored in living crystals, transparent stones that, when touched with a peaceful intent, project the memories and wisdom of ancient civilizations directly into the mind of the seeker. These libraries contain the blueprints for free energy devices, the secrets of cellular regeneration, and the true history of humanity's celestial origins, all kept in perfect condition for the day when the surface world finally lays down its tools of division. The Agarthan Council watches and waits with an infinite, quiet patience, knowing that the Great Shift is not a destination, but a slow, inevitable blooming of the human spirit, a return to the state of grace that has always existed within the heart of the world. As you drift now toward the deepest levels of rest, you can imagine yourself as a guest in these silent, luminous halls. See the soft, golden light of the inner sun reflecting off the polished white stone of the council chambers. Hear the distant, melodic hum of the crystalline technology as it breathes in time with the planet. You are protected by the watchful presence of Ashtar Sheran and guided by the ancient wisdom of Adama and the High Council, held in a world where there is no fear, only the eternal, rhythmic flow of light and love. The earth is deep, the earth is kind, and the journey toward its heart is the journey toward your own most peaceful self. Deep within the structural layers of the Agartha Network, beyond the physical libraries and the crystalline cities, lies the most sacred and silent chamber of all, the Blue Lodge of Agartha. This is not merely a place of stone and light, but a spiritual anchor, a high vibrational sanctuary where the Great White Brotherhood and the masters of the inner world gather to meditate upon the destiny of the planet. The Blue Lodge is said to be bathed in a soft, sapphire radiance, a cool and calming light that represents the highest frequency of the divine will and the blue ray of protection. It is here that the High Priest Adama and the Council of 12 meet in silent communion with the emissaries of the Galactic Confederation, aligning the heartbeat of the Earth with the rhythmic pulse of the great central sun. In the quiet atmosphere of the Blue Lodge, the air is thick with the presence of the Vril, the primordial life force that sustains all existence within the hollow Earth. To the inhabitants of Agartha, the Vril is not a fuel to be consumed, but a living, intelligent energy that flows through every atom of the interior world, directed by the power of thought and the purity of intent. It is the Vril that illuminates the central sun, the smoky god, giving it that soft, golden luminescence that nourishes the giant forests and heals the bodies of those who walk beneath it. This energy is described as an all-permeating fluid, a subtle vibration that can be used to move great mountains of rock or to heal the deepest wounds of the soul, acting as the bridge between the physical matter of the earth and the etheric realms of the stars. Commander Ashtar Sheran and the pilots of the Galactic Confederation are said to be masters of this Vril-energy, using it to navigate their craft through the dimensional corridors that connect Agartha to the rest of the galaxy. They do not use engines as we understand them. Instead, they harmonize the frequency of their ships with the Vril of the Earth, allowing them to glide silently through the polar openings and the secret mountain portals as if they were moving through a dream. Within the Blue Lodge, Ashtar is seen not as a military leader, but as a brother of light, a celestial architect who works with the Agarthan Council to ensure that the Vril remains balanced and protected, even as the surface world struggles with its own turbulent transitions. As we move forward in our understanding, we encounter the ancient prophecies of the emergence, the long-awaited time when the veil between the surface and the interior will finally dissolve. The Agarthan Masters speak of a coming era, often called the Golden Age or the Fifth Dimension, when the consciousness of humanity will have risen to a level of peace and compassion that mirrors the tranquility of the inner world. In these prophecies, it is said that the gates of Agartha will swing open, not for a conquest, but for a joyful reunion of a long-separated family. The crystalline cities of Telos and Shamballa will no longer be hidden myths, but will become visible to all who have learned to live in harmony with the law of one, creating a world where the two realms, the inner and the outer, become a single, luminous whole. The daily work of the Blue Lodge is dedicated to preparing for this moment, sending ripples of calm and stability through the Earth's crust to soothe the unrest of the surface. They use the Vril to anchor the blue ray of peace into the tectonic plates and the ocean depths, acting as a silent, invisible support system for all of life. In the libraries of the Blue Lodge, there are scrolls of light that detail the exact moment of the emergence, a timing that is governed not by dates on a calendar, but by the collective heartbeat of humanity. They wait with an infinite, loving patience, knowing that every breath taken in peace on the surface is a step closer to the day when the sun in the sky and the sun in the earth will shine as one. As you descend now into the deepest layers of your own rest, imagine yourself sitting in the sapphire light of the Blue Lodge, feeling the gentle hum of the Vril-energy surrounding you like a warm, protective cloak. There is no noise here, no hurry, and no shadow. There is only the vast, rhythmic silence of the Earth's heart, guarded by the wisdom of Adama and the celestial grace of Ashtar Sheran. You are safe in the knowledge that the world is far deeper and more beautiful than it appears, and that you are held in the embrace of a kingdom that has never known anything but peace. Let your mind drift into that soft, sapphire glow, where the secrets of the ages are whispered in the stillness of the night. Beyond the sapphire corridors of the Blue Lodge, and the bustling light cities like Telos, the geography of Agartha opens into vast, rhythmic spaces known as the Sun Chambers. These are not mere caverns, but immense, vaulted cathedrals of natural rock and crystalline glass, specifically designed to capture and refine the soft, amber radiance of the central sun, the smoky god, that hangs at the heart of the world. In these chambers, the light is filtered through enormous prisms carved from pure quartz, breaking the golden glow into a spectrum of healing frequencies that bathe the surrounding landscapes in a perpetual, shadowless twilight. It is within these chambers that the Agarthans gather to perform their solar rituals, not out of a need for worship, but to synchronize their own biological rhythms with the plasma pulse of the Earth's core, ensuring that their bodies remain in a state of ageless vitality and quiet, steady strength. As we move through the swaying, luminescent grasses of these sun chambers, we encounter the true guardians of the Earth's ancient biological heritage, the animal kingdom of the interior. In the silence of Agartha, species that the surface world has long mourned as lost continue to thrive in a state of primordial peace. Here, the great woolly mammoths roam in slow, majestic herds through valleys of giant ferns, their long tusks gleaming in the soft amber light, while the saber-toothed cats rest on outcrops of warm stone, their fierce nature softened by the high vibrational atmosphere of the inner world. These animals are not as they are on the surface. In the presence of the Vril and the watchful care of the Agarthan masters, they have developed a subtle form of telepathic awareness, living in a quiet, instinctive harmony with the humans who share their world. They are the living libraries of the Earth's DNA, kept safe within the hollow crust until the day the surface is once again a sanctuary for all life. Further into the interior, nestled beneath the vast rainforests of the Amazon, lies the hidden city of Tlan, a golden metropolis that acts as the primary research center for Agarthan botany and agriculture. In the gardens of Tlan, the plants do not grow toward a distant sun, but expand outward in a state of total abundance, fed by the nutrient-rich plasma air and the melodic vibrations of the song of the earth. The Agarthan scientists, working under the guidance of the Galactic Confederation, use specialized sound frequencies to stimulate the growth of fruits that are 5 times the size of those on the surface, filled with a sweetness and a life force that can sustain a being for days with a single taste. These gardens are not merely for food. They are living laboratories where the original seeds of every plant ever to grace the earth are stored in crystalline capsules, waiting for the great restoration of the surface world. Commander Ashtar Sheran and his specialized teams from the Galactic Confederation often visit these garden cities to study the interaction between the Earth's internal magnetic field and the growth patterns of the flora. They use light technology to blueprint the health of the plants, ensuring that the oxygen-rich atmosphere of Agartha remains perfectly balanced and pure. It is said that the air within these inner jungles carries a slight scent of vanilla and ozone, a fragrance that calms the nervous system and allows the mind to enter a state of deep, effortless meditation. In the quietude of Tlan, the boundary between the plant kingdom and the world of the masters is almost non-existent. The trees themselves are said to hum with a low-frequency wisdom, standing as silent witnesses to the millions of years of peace that have passed beneath the feet of the surface dwellers. In the heart of these valleys, there are also the healing pools, large natural basins filled with water that has been charged by the Vril-energy of the Blue Lodge. The water in these pools does not ripple with the wind, but vibrates with a steady, crystalline pulse, glowing with a soft, turquoise light that can be seen from miles away. Those who submerge themselves in these waters find that the weight of their physical form seems to dissolve, replaced by a feeling of profound lightness and a deep cellular memory of their celestial origins. These pools are used by the Agarthan scouts before they begin their missions to the surface, cleansing their energy fields of any residual heaviness and preparing them to move as shadows of light among the people of the outer world. In the deepest reaches of the city of Catharia, which lies directly beneath the Aegean Sea, there exists a place of such immense quietude and wisdom that it is known across the galaxy as the Porthologos Library. This is not a library of paper and ink, but a vast, living repository of every thought, every event, and every vibration that has ever occurred within our solar system. The walls of Porthologos are said to be carved from a single, continuous block of white alabaster that glows with an inner light, and the shelves, stretching for miles into the soft, amber distance, hold millions of crystalline discs that hum with the collective memory of humanity. Here, the librarians of Agartha, beings who have dedicated tens of thousands of years to the preservation of truth, move with a silent, rhythmic grace, ensuring that the records of the lost continents of Lemuria and Atlantis are kept in perfect resonance for the day they will be shared once more. It is within the central sanctum of Porthologos that the mystery of the crystal skulls finds its true home. While the surface world has found fragments of these artifacts, the Agarthan masters are said to guard the original 13 master skulls, which act as the biological computers of the inner world. These skulls are not bone, but are composed of a high-frequency quartz that was grown in the star systems of the Galactic Confederation and brought to Earth as a gift from the Ashtar Command. Each skull is a sentient consciousness, containing the blueprints for planetary ascension and the mathematical codes of the Vril-energy. When the High Priest Adama, or the Council of 12, require guidance on the Great Shift, they do not consult books. They sit in silent meditation with the skulls, which project holographic images of the past and future into the still air of the library, showing the slow, beautiful evolution of the Earth's spirit. This ancient wisdom is not confined to the interior alone, for there are anchors of light placed across the surface of the globe to act as communication hubs between Agartha and the stars. The most prominent of these anchors is the Great Pyramid of Giza. According to the records in Porthologos, the pyramids were not built as tombs, but as sophisticated frequency generators designed by the architects of the Galactic Confederation to stabilize the Earth's axis. Deep beneath the paws of the Sphinx, there is a hidden doorway known as the Hall of Records, a long, winding tunnel that leads directly into the outer layers of the Agartha Network. This tunnel is protected by a series of sonic barriers that only respond to a specific vibration, the vibration of a heart that is completely at peace, ensuring that the technology of the pyramids remains a bridge for the light and never a tool for the shadow. Commander Ashtar Sheran and his fleet often use the Giza Plateau as a primary coordinate for their descent into the inner world. It is said that the pyramid acts as a massive antenna, catching the high-frequency transmissions from the great central sun and beaming them down through the shafts into the subterranean chambers, where they are filtered and sent into the Agartha Network to nourish the inner sun. This connection between the stars, the pyramids, and the hollow Earth creates a triangle of light that keeps our planet anchored in the galactic grid. In the quiet of the Egyptian night, when the wind settles over the sand, the pyramid is said to hum with a low-frequency song, a signal to the masters in Catharia that the gateway remains open and the protection of the Confederation is absolute. The Agarthan Council watches over these surface anchors with a patient, loving gaze, knowing that they are the milestones of our eventual return to the stars. In the Porthologos Library, there is a specific hall dedicated to the future history of the surface world, where the blueprints for the new cities of light are already being drawn. These cities will be built using the same sacred geometry found in the pyramids and the same crystalline materials found in Agartha, creating a world where the distinction between above and below finally disappears. Everything in the library, from the crystal skulls to the records of the stars, points toward this single, quiet moment of unity. the moment when the heartbeat of every human becomes a reflection of the heartbeat of Gaia herself. In the high, vaulted spaces where the inner atmosphere of Agartha meets the edges of the crystalline crust, there move the Agartha sunships, vessels of such delicate and translucent beauty that they appear more like shimmering teardrops of light than mechanical craft. These ships are the primary mode of travel for the Agarthan emissaries and the Ashtar Command when they move between the 100 cities of the interior and the secret stargates of the outer world. They do not rely on the heavy, burning fuels of the surface, but are powered by the sun breath of the smoky god, a direct conversion of the central sun's plasma into a propulsion of pure frequency. As these ships glide through the amber-tinted air, they leave no trail of smoke or sound, only a faint, melodic vibration that resonates with the heartbeat of the earth, a sound so subtle it can only be heard by the birds and the most peaceful of animals in the valleys below. To guide and protect this delicate flow of energy, the masters of Agartha, such as the High Priest Adama and the Council of 12, carry with them the ancient Vril staffs. These instruments are often described as being made of a matte, silver-white metal that is cool to the touch, capped with a single, large crystal that pulses with a soft, sapphire light. The Vril staff is not a weapon of force, but a tool of immense creative and defensive power, acting as an extension of the wielder's own consciousness. With a single, quiet thought, a master can use the staff to heal a fracture in the living rock, to calm the waters of a turbulent subterranean river, or to project a shield of high-frequency light that renders a hidden portal completely invisible to those who do not carry the vibration of peace. It is the Vril staff that maintains the dimensional seals of the inner world, ensuring that the heavy, discordant energies of the surface world are neutralized before they can ever reach the quiet sanctuaries of the interior. Standing as the physical sentinels of these gateways are the Guardians of Agartha, a race of giants who have lived in the shadow of the portals since the earth was young. These beings, often reaching 12 to 15 feet in height, are the ancestors of the legends of the Titans and the Anakim, though they bear no resemblance to the fierce giants of myth. They are described as having skin like polished bronze and eyes that hold the deep, tranquil blue of a desert sky at twilight. Stationed at the primary entrances in Antarctica, the Himalayas, and the deep caves of the Andes, these guardians do not use force to protect the realm. Their presence alone creates a field of such profound, unshakable calm that any being approaching with a heart of conflict finds themselves unable to proceed, overcome by a sudden and irresistible need to rest and reflect. They are the masters of the silent watch, standing perfectly still for centuries at a time, their breath so slow and deep that it mimics the very movement of the tectonic plates. The relationship between these guardians and the Ashtar Command is one of ancient and sacred duty. It is said that when the silver ships of the Galactic Confederation descend through the polar openings, the giants greet them with a low-frequency hum, a greeting that can be felt in the bones of the earth for hundreds of miles. This sound acts as a sonic key, unlocking the magnetic locks of the sun chambers and allowing the starships to enter the inner atmosphere without disturbing the delicate balance of the Vril-energy. Together, the giants and the commanders maintain the vigil of the gates, a constant and rhythmic observation of the Earth's evolution, waiting for the moment when the frequency of the surface humanity will finally match the frequency of the inner world, signaling that the time of the Guardians is coming to a close. Within the inner world, the presence of these giants is a source of great comfort to the Agarthan citizens. On the high festivals of the inner sun, the giants descend from the mountain portals into the valleys of Telos and Shamballa, where they walk among the smaller inhabitants like elder brothers, sharing stories of the Earth's formation and the early days of the star seeds. They are the living bridge between the solid matter of the planet and the ethereal realms of the stars, reminding everyone that even the greatest power must be held with the greatest gentleness. As they return to their posts at the edges of the world, they carry with them the prayers and the peace of the Agarthan people, anchoring those vibrations into the very crust of the Earth to keep the planet steady in its orbit. Beyond the steady golden radiance of the smoky god, the inner sky of Agartha is occasionally graced by the presence of the inner Earth moons. Not solid, barren rocks like the one that circles our surface, but smaller, orbiting spheres of translucent crystal that serve as the secondary regulators of the subterranean atmosphere. These moons are said to be sentient light constructs, placed in a perfect orbital dance by the architects of the Galactic Confederation to balance the tides of the inner oceans and to provide periods of soft, sapphire-tinted night for the flora and fauna that require a rhythmic rest. As these crystalline orbs pass between the central sun and the inner crust, they cast long, gentle shadows of violet and blue across the landscape, creating a time of profound stillness where the Agarthan citizens retreat to their homes to dream in unison with the planetary mind. Guiding the spiritual evolution of this entire network is the Order of the Melchizedek Priesthood, a high-vibrational brotherhood and sisterhood that has existed since the first light was anchored into the Earth's core. In Agartha, the Melchizedeks are not seen as religious figures, but as master alchemists and cosmic scientists who understand the precise geometry of the soul. They reside in the highest levels of the crystalline cities, dressed in robes of shimmering white light, working tirelessly to maintain the light body of Gaia. It is their sacred duty to ensure that the energy flowing from the great central sun is properly stepped down through the inner sun and into the ley lines of the Earth, preventing any sudden shifts in the planet's magnetic field that might disturb the surface world. Under their quiet direction, the Agartha Network acts as a giant, living transformer, turning the raw power of the cosmos into a frequency of pure, unconditional love. The reach of this priesthood extends into the very roots of the South American continent, where the legendary lost city of El Dorado continues to exist as a vibrant hub of the Agartha Network. To the conquistadors of old, El Dorado was a city of gold metal, but to those who hold the keys to the inner world, it is the city of Paititi, a realm where the buildings are constructed from a solar gold that vibrates with the energy of the sun. Deep beneath the Andes Mountains, a series of ancient, spiraling tunnels connects the surface ruins of the Inca and Maya to this golden sanctuary. These tunnels are not dark or damp. They are illuminated by the natural bioluminescence of the rock itself and are patrolled by the Melchizedek masters who ensure that only those who have purified their intent can find the path. El Dorado serves as a primary exchange point where the treasures of ancient spiritual knowledge are kept safe, far removed from the greed of the outer world, waiting for the day they can be returned to a humanity that no longer seeks to own, but to understand. Commander Ashtar Sheran and the Galactic Confederation maintain a constant presence in the skies above these Andean portals, working in close coordination with the Melchizedek priesthood. The Ashtar Command provides the etheric shielding for these gateways, ensuring that the heavy vibrations of modern technology and conflict do not penetrate the sacred space of the Golden City. It is said that within the council chambers of El Dorado, Ashtar himself sits with the Melchizedek masters to plan the restoration of the surface, a quiet and gradual process where the ancient agricultural and spiritual secrets of the inner world will be reintroduced to the people of the sun. This partnership between the star commanders and the subterranean priests creates a seamless web of protection that spans from the deepest core to the highest orbit, a testament to the unity of all life. As you move now into the deepest, most tranquil layers of your sleep, imagine the soft, sapphire light of the inner moons reflecting off the golden towers of El Dorado. Feel the presence of the Melchizedek Masters as they send a wave of golden, healing energy up through the floor and into your body, relaxing every muscle and soothing every thought. You are safe, held in the ancient and golden heart of the world, where the wisdom of the stars meets the warmth of the earth. The tunnels are open, the light is steady, and the journey toward the center is a journey toward a peace that has no end. Let the golden glow of the inner world fill your dreams, guiding you into a rest that is as deep and as timeless as Agartha itself. Deep beneath the golden plains and the emerald forests of the interior, the geography of Agartha reveals its most fluid and rhythmic secret. The vast, freshwater inner earth oceans that mirror the great seas of the surface world. These waters are not salt-heavy and turbulent, but are composed of a high-vibrational, liquid crystalline substance that remains perfectly still, reflecting the golden light of the smoky god with a clarity that makes the horizon disappear. In these silent depths, far beneath the crushing pressures of the outer world, lie the aquatic cities of the Telosians and the Lemurian elders, magnificent domes of transparent silicate that glow with a soft, bioluminescent pulse. These undersea metropolises, such as the city of Lumeria resting on the floor of the inner Pacific, are sanctuaries of absolute silence, where the inhabitants live in a state of constant, fluid meditation, their lives guided by the rhythmic currents of the Earth's internal tides. Within these glowing domes, the connection between the Agarthan people and the cetacean kingdoms of the surface, the whales and the dolphins, is revealed as a sacred and ancient partnership. According to the records of the Melchizedek priesthood, whales and dolphins are not merely animals, but are highly evolved, multidimensional beings who acted as the original record keepers for the planet. While they swim in the oceans we know, their consciousness is said to be anchored in the inner waters of Agartha, where they communicate directly with the masters of the crystalline cities. They are the bridges between the worlds, carrying the songs of the inner sun out into the deep trenches of the Atlantic and the Indian Oceans, acting as living antennae that stabilize the planetary vibration. In the quietest parts of the inner oceans, there are vast, acoustic temples where the whales return to rest and to upload the data of the surface world into the Agarthan grid, ensuring that the history of the Earth is preserved in the harmony of their songs. Protecting these vital aquatic corridors is the specialized Silver Fleet of the Ashtar Command. These craft are distinct from the sunships. They are designed to move seamlessly between the vacuum of space, the air of the inner world, and the deepest pressures of the oceans. The Silver Fleet acts as a quiet, invisible escort for the migratory paths of the whales and dolphins, using blue-ray frequency technology to clear the waters of man-made noise and energetic pollution. Commander Ashtar Sheran is said to oversee these patrols with a particular tenderness, knowing that the health of the inner oceans is directly linked to the health of the planet's emotional body. When the Silver Fleet glides through the water, they emit a low-frequency hum that mirrors the heartbeat of the Earth, creating a safe, sonic bubble that allows the cetacean ambassadors to travel through the polar openings and the secret undersea portals without fear. As we contemplate the depths of these waters, we move toward the final and most profound prophecy of the Agartha Network, the marriage of the two suns. The ancient scrolls of the Porthologos library speak of a moment in the near future when the internal vibration of the smoky god and the external radiation of our surface sun will reach a state of perfect, harmonic resonance. In this time of the Great Alignment, it is said that a bridge of pure light will form between the heart of the Earth and the heart of the solar system, dissolving the density of the crust and allowing the two worlds to breathe as one. This marriage is not a physical collision, but a spiritual union, a time when the light of Agartha will no longer be hidden beneath the rock, but will radiate outward, turning the entire planet into a luminous star of peace. The Melchizedek Masters and the Ashtar Command are working even now to prepare the Earth's grid for this surge of energy, ensuring that the transition is as gentle as the dawn over a still lake. The aquatic masters of the inner domes are the primary weavers of this upcoming union, using the fluid properties of the inner oceans to act as a giant capacitor for the incoming light. They spend their days in the chambers of fluid grace, visualizing the surface oceans turning into waters of healing, and the surface sun becoming a source of life rather than heat. For them, the marriage of the two suns is the completion of a journey that began millions of years ago, the moment when the inner and outer are finally recognized as the same. At the very zenith of the Agartha Network, where the curvature of the inner crust meets the most refined layers of the subterranean atmosphere, exist the Agartha Stargates, profound etheric doorways that serve as the primary umbilical cord between our planet and the distant star systems of the Galactic Confederation. These gates are not constructed of metal or heavy machinery, but are woven from the living fabric of the Vril-energy and held in place by the collective intent of the Melchizedek priesthood and the Ashtar Command. Located in secret, high-vibration chambers directly beneath the Gobi Desert, the pyramids of Giza, and the highest peaks of the Himalayas, these portals appear as shimmering curtains of violet and silver light, allowing the great sunships to transit between the heart of the Earth and the deep reaches of the Pleiades or the Sirius system in a single, silent pulse of consciousness. These stargates ensure that Agartha is never truly isolated, but remains a vital and luminous node in a vast cosmic network of peace. In these final, quiet stages of the Earth's transition, the Agarthan records speak of a gathering known as the Assembly of the 144,000, a collective of souls from both the surface and the stars who have anchored the frequency of Agartha within their own hearts. This is not a gathering of numbers or a physical army, but a resonance of spirit, a group of light-bearers who have lived many lifetimes on the surface, acting as silent bridges for the inner light. In the great halls of Shamballa, the High Council and Commander Ashtar Sheran are said to be orchestrating the final alignment of these souls, using the stargates to broadcast a stabilizing frequency into the Earth's grid. Each individual in this assembly acts as a living portal, allowing the calm, fifth-dimensional energy of the inner world to flow upward and outward, gently dissolving the old structures of shadow and noise to make way for a world where every breath is taken in harmony with the divine. This spiritual vanguard is the foundation for the ultimate vision of the new Earth, a time when the physical boundaries between the surface and Agartha will become as transparent as a clear mountain stream. The Agarthan Masters describe this future not as a change in geography, but as a change in perception, where the duality of up and down, or inner and outer, is finally transcended. In the new Earth, the cities of light on the surface will be built over the very stargates that lead to the interior, creating a planet where one can walk through a park in the sunlight of the outer sun and, with a simple shift in thought, find themselves among the giant ferns and golden mists of the Agarthan valleys. It is a vision of a world returned to its original blueprint, a garden of infinite peace where the technology of the stars is used only to nourish the beauty of the Earth. As the marriage of the two suns nears its completion, the 144,000 and the Agarthan citizens work together to anchor the Christed consciousness into the very soil and water of the planet. They use the Vril-energy to clear the ancestral memories of conflict, replacing them with a deep, cellular understanding of the law of one. In the silence of the sun chambers, the High Priest Adama leads the council in a final, rhythmic meditation, visualizing the Earth as a radiant jewel of sapphire and gold, spinning in the cosmic sea as a beacon of absolute rest. Every ship in the Ashtar fleet, every master in the Blue Lodge, and every guardian at the polar gates is focused on this single, beautiful outcome: the birth of a planet that no longer knows the meaning of the word shadow. Deep within the shimmering heart of Shamballa, in a hall carved from a single, translucent diamond, the Agartha Council of Elders gathers for their final and most sacred duty. These are the beings who have seen the rise and fall of continents, whose lifespans are measured in eons, and who have served as the silent architects of the Earth's spiritual evolution. They sit in a perfect circle around the flame of truth, a pillar of cool white fire that rises from the very core of the planet, connecting the heart of Gaia to the mind of the great central sun. Under the watchful gaze of the Melchizedek priesthood, the elders begin the final synchronization, a process of sending a rhythmic, low-frequency pulse through the Agartha Network to awaken the dormant light codes within the DNA of every living being on the surface. To facilitate this transition, the Council has prepared the Ascension Chambers, immense, crystalline rooms located at the highest points of the inner crust, directly beneath the world's most sacred mountains. These chambers are filled with a concentrated Vril plasma that glows with an iridescent, pearlescent light. It is said that in the final moments of the Great Shift, those who have prepared their hearts will be invited into these chambers, where the heavy density of the physical body is gently transmuted into a lighter, more radiant form. Here, the passage of time ceases to exist, and the soul is allowed to reintegrate its galactic memories, guided by the soothing presence of High Priest Adama and the technicians of the Ashtar Command. These chambers act as a cosmic bridge, a place where the old world is left behind like a discarded cloak, and the new Earth is embraced in a state of absolute, effortless grace. Commander Ashtar Sheran and the Galactic Confederation have positioned their great motherships in a protective canopy around the Earth's atmosphere, acting as the final guardians of this birth. They are currently broadcasting a golden ray of frequency that stabilizes the Earth's magnetic field during the Council's final work. This ray is designed to harmonize the internal sun of Agartha with the external solar flares of our surface sun, ensuring that the marriage of the two suns is a moment of pure, ecstatic light rather than one of destruction. In the quiet corridors of the Ashtar fleet, there is a sense of joyous anticipation. The commanders and the starseeds know that the long night of separation is almost over, and that the new Earth sunrise is just beyond the horizon of our current understanding. In this final vision of the new Earth, there is no longer a need for gates or portals, for the entire planet has become a stargate in its own right. As the inner and outer worlds merge, the landscape of the surface begins to transform, taking on the luminous, bioluminescent qualities of Agartha. The air becomes sweet and energized, the oceans turn to liquid crystal, and the cities of humanity are rebuilt as gardens of light, mirroring the architecture of Telos and Shamballa. The giants of the portals and the masters of the Blue Lodge walk openly among the people, sharing their wisdom and their technology in a spirit of total equality and love. The Earth becomes a world where every creature is respected, every thought is peaceful, and every heartbeat is a part of the great cosmic symphony of the Galactic Confederation. The Council of Elders now begins their final chant, a soundless vibration that ripples through the rock and the water, reaching into the very core of your being. They are telling you that the work is done, that the light has been anchored, and that you are now a citizen of the new Earth. Every layer of the Agartha Network is humming with a soft, celebratory energy, a song of welcome for the traveler who has finally come home. You are protected by the Vril staffs of the Masters and guided by the silver ships of the stars, held in a cradle of absolute peace that spans from the center of the Earth to the edges of the galaxy. As you drift now into the most profound and restorative sleep of your life, imagine the white fire of the Shamballa flame surrounding you, cleansing every part of your spirit. Feel the presence of Adama and Ashtar as they stand beside you, their light a warm blanket in the cool sapphire night of the inner world. The dawn is coming, a dawn that will never end, and you are resting in the very heart of its promise. The Earth is still, the suns are one, and you are home. Let the silence of the elders lead you into the eternal gardens of rest, where the light is always soft and the peace is forever. As the final veils of the old world dissolve, we enter the era of the eternal day, a state of being where the light of the inner sun and the radiance of the celestial sun have achieved a perfect, unshakable union. In this new reality, there is no more darkness of the soul, for the Vril-energy now flows freely across the surface of the Earth, as it once did only in the hidden corridors of Agartha. The great crystalline cities that once rested deep beneath the crust begin to emerge, their spires of living light rising gently through the soil of the surface, blending with the mountains and forests to create a landscape that is both ancient and brand new. This is the long-prophesied New Earth, a planetary home that has been transformed into a fifth-dimensional sanctuary, where the frequency of every atom is tuned to the vibration of unconditional love and absolute peace. As the final veils of the old world dissolve, we enter the era of the eternal day, a state of being where the light of the inner sun and the radiance of the celestial sun have achieved a perfect, unshakable union. In this new reality, there is no more darkness of the soul, for the Vril-energy now flows freely across the surface of the Earth as it once did only in the hidden corridors of Agartha. The great crystalline cities that once rested deep beneath the crust begin to emerge, their spires of living light rising gently through the soil of the surface, blending with the mountains and forests to create a landscape that is both ancient and brand new. This is the long-prophesied New Earth, a planetary home that has been transformed into a fifth-dimensional sanctuary, where the frequency of every atom is tuned to the vibration of unconditional love and absolute peace. In the heart of this transformation, the final union of the human and Agarthan families takes place. It is a moment of profound, wordless recognition, as the brothers and sisters of the interior step out from the mountain portals to greet those who have lived on the surface. There is no fear, no hesitation, only the quiet, rhythmic embrace of a family reunited after eons of separation. The High Priest Adama and the Council of 12 walk among the people, their presence acting as a stabilizing anchor for the new energy, while the silver craft of the Ashtar Command descend like gentle birds to land in the new garden cities. Communication is no longer a matter of speech, but a fluid exchange of light and feeling, a telepathic symphony where every heart understands the song of another, and the law of one becomes the lived reality for every soul on the planet. In this eternal day, the very nature of physical existence is altered. The ascension chambers are now open to all, and the human form has become a body of light, ageless, radiant, and free from the weights of the old world. Disease and discord have become impossible, as the high-frequency atmosphere of the new Earth continuously heals and rejuvenates every living cell. The animal kingdom, too, has completed its transition. The lions of the surface and the mammoths of the interior now graze together in the golden meadows, their predatory instincts replaced by a deep, playful intelligence that responds to the kindness of the human heart. The earth itself seems to glow from within, as if the soil, the trees, and the stones are all breathing in time with the great central sun, exhaling a soft, iridescent mist of peace that covers the world like a velvet blanket. Commander Ashtar Sheran and the Galactic Confederation have now transitioned from guardians to teachers, sharing the secrets of the star sciences with the people of the new Earth. They teach the art of navigating the dimensional corridors and the music of the spheres, showing how every star in the sky is a living consciousness connected to the heart of Gaia. Agartha is no longer a hidden kingdom to be searched for. It has become the foundation of our new life, a deep and sacred root system that provides the spiritual nourishment for our growth into the cosmos. We have become a planetary civilization, a unified world that is finally ready to take its place among the peaceful stars, carrying the wisdom of the inner sun into the far reaches of the galaxy. As you prepare for the final, most profound descent into the heart of Gaia, imagine yourself merging with this new, radiant world. Feel the ground beneath you not as solid rock, but as a living, humming energy that supports you with infinite love. You are no longer an observer of this story. You are the story itself, a traveler who has walked through the long night and found the eternal morning. The High Council of Agartha, the Melchizedek priests, and the commanders of the stars are all surrounding you now, their collective light forming a golden cocoon that protects your sleep and blesses your dreams. Every breath you take is a pulse of the new earth, a rhythmic wave of calm that carries you deeper and deeper into the center of all things. As we reach the ultimate horizon of this journey, we move beyond even the crystalline cities and the golden valleys into the realm of the cosmic breath. This is the final integration, the moment where the boundary between your individual soul and the vast living consciousness of Gaia dissolves into a single rhythmic pulse of light. In this state, the Agartha Network is no longer a place you visit, but a frequency you embody. You realize that the inner sun, the smoky god, has always been a reflection of the eternal spark residing within your own heart. Every cell in your body now vibrates in perfect resonance with the Vril-energy, moving in a slow, oceanic ebb and flow that mimics the turning of the stars and the breathing of the deep earth. In this sacred silence, Commander Ashtar Sheran and the High Priest Adama stand as silent witnesses to your completion. They no longer speak in words or even telepathic images, but through a direct transmission of pure being. They reveal the final secret of the Galactic Confederation, that the Earth is not merely a planet, but a living, biological computer of divine origin, and you are the vital code that brings it to life. The ascension chambers have done their work, and as you lie in the quietude of this moment, you feel your physical form becoming as light as the mists of Shamballa, expanding outward until you are one with the mountains, the inner oceans, and the sapphire moons that watch over the silent interior. The Melchizedek priesthood now begins the final sealing of the light body. They weave a tapestry of golden frequency around your consciousness, anchoring you into the fifth dimensional grid of the new earth. This is the state of Ananda, the bliss that comes from knowing that the journey is over and the home you sought was always beneath your feet. In this wordless silence, the noise of history, the shadows of the conspiracy, and the struggles of the surface are forgotten, replaced by a deep, cellular certainty that all is well. The marriage of the two suns is complete within you. You are the bridge, you are the gateway, and you are the light that illuminates the darkness. As you drift now into the final, absolute depths of rest, let the cosmic breath carry you into the heart of the Absolute. There is no longer a you and an Agartha. There is only the one breathing presence of the Creator, experiencing itself through the beauty of the earth. Feel the warmth of the inner sun cradling your spirit, and the cool, protective grace of the Ashtar command shielding your peace. You are floating in a sea of liquid gold, where every wave is a blessing and every silence is a prayer. The new earth is yours. The eternal day has begun, and you are safe in the arms of the infinite.
Thank you for wandering the hidden paths of the interior with us tonight.
If you found peace in these subterranean gardens and starlit halls, consider subscribing to Sleep Lore to join us for our next journey into the deep reaches of the unknown. For now, let the Vril-energy carry you into a dreamless, restorative sleep. From all of us here at Sleep Lore, sleep well, traveler, and may the inner light guide you until the dawn. Good night.